RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And we have somebody else in the studio with us.
Hello.
Who is that? April?
That is Casey.
Hi.
Casey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I've wanted to come for a while and just kind of butt in because I find whenever I listen to you ladies every week, I've always got some commentary and I'm talking to myself and I figure maybe I'll come share it with you too.
Yes. So Casey, tell them what you do.
She already sounds better than us.
Oh yeah.
No. Okay. No, you ladies are professionals.
We are
at what you're doing. And I will tell you this, it's really kind of fun to go back to some of your first episodes and then see how you've,
progressed.
You've gotten into your groove. You're doing great.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So just a couple quick things. I am a clinical psychologist. However, I feel like I need to come with a disclaimer that I'm not a forensic psychologist. I do not have a specialty in working with any of the population that you two end up talking about a lot. Although I've got a little bit of a background, so I may interject and have some comments here and there. This is not my area of expertise. I think April probably knows more about forensic psychology than I do.
What about your clients? What ages are they?
So I see kids starting about age 7. I really like the college young adult population the most. So that's where I probably have a lot of focus.
Speaking of college kids who might need therapy, what did you think about our college cannibal?
Oh my gosh.
Austin.
I was texting, calling Caroline saying, man, that's the episode I should have been here for.
Man.
It was so interesting. And I think she actually texted me while y'all were recording that one about some diagnoses. But when I was listening, as soon as you started talking about these YouTube videos and some of the things that he was doing, it was right away like, this is a manic episode. And it had some psychotic features to it, obviously. But it's so scary to think about how... this is just classic. It was a classic example of how severe mental illness can get and what can result when, you don't take it seriously as soon as possible because I don't want to get onto his parents too much, but I just think about they had a lot of opportunity, right, to get him some treatment, to get him some more help when he's starting to think that he's a dog and act like a dog and do and say all these things that don't make sense. We've got to take that seriously.
Does that just slowly progress, though? I mean, you can just develop it, or it's like dormant, and then it just comes out. Like it's maybe some drugs triggered it coming out.
There's a lot of different theories, and of course, we're not 100% on mental illness, right? If we knew where all of this came from and what we could do, we would be able to maybe prevent more of these episodes. But there are some theories that there's a genetic predisposition that some of us have to mental illness, but sometimes it doesn't really ever present itself fully until we're under especially like a really stressful circumstance or set of life circumstances. That's something that can magnify or exacerbate or even trigger some of these underlying issues that some people have. And so we don't know what was going on with his life, if there was something there that might have triggered some of that. But also, I think April mentioned too, a lot of these diagnoses we don't start seeing until that young adult age. So really like 18, 19, 20, we may see some kind of precursors, especially like the conduct disorder types of things, like the kids who are, you think back to Dahmer, right? He was like performing all these like science experiments on cats and animals and whatnot. There's some of that like fire setting and stealing and, being cruel to animals that gives us an indication for some of these things. But it's not an exact science, right? Or we'd be able to maybe pinpoint some of these cases before they got to the extent that they do in adulthood.
Do you have, I'm an educator, so I've done this. Do you keep files on kids that you think like maybe turn up in the news later on? Or do you like make certain notes, like just in case they write a book about them or something? I have certain kids in my past that I'm like, let me just keep all this documentation in case they want to interview me for a book.
In like, case this is not the last time I'm going to see this or see this name or hear this name. No, I hadn't really thought about that. Right now, honestly, I just do whatever the law tells me to do. I keep records as long as I'm supposed to.
Okay. Well, what are you drinking?
I've got my Sonic Dr. Pepper today. Y'all, it's been a long weekend. I needed a little caffeine. So.
Did you Westfest it this weekend?
No, we Baylor tailgated it.
College football season officially started this week.
Yay, how excited are you about that?
I mean, I watched, we have a lot of friends that are college athletes, so I watched all my friends' kids, and so it was fun, and I still got to go to a game, and we still won. My kid is just on a scooter on a sideline. He looks real pitiful.
Wow.
The best part is he's turning 21 on a scooter with meds in his system, and he's like, I can't even live my best life. Can't even do it.
Although maybe like people feel real bad for him and be buying him more drinks and.
Or like he doesn't even have to stand up for a lap.
Can you get like a DWI with a scooter on a scooter?
He's not supposed to drive because it's his driving leg, but I think he drives.
Is it like
places
one of those blue
with the
ducks?
left legs?
Oh, it's literally like your knees bent on it. And
Yeah.
It's not motorized.
No, he has to go like this.
Oh, he has to work for it.
Yeah,
work for it.
He has to
it's
pedal
like me in the
with
venue.
the other leg. Yes. Caroline,
You had a shout.
I do have a shout out. I'm almost officially not homeless. Say yay.
Oh, yay.
Yay! Our house that we've been renovating forever is done. So we're just slowly moving stuff in. So I have to give a shout out to our contractor.
Okay, I'm confused.
She never. 4 times I've told her this.
I know.
It's her. She's building a house. So I'm a shout out to Alex and his crew, Alex Hernandez and his crew. And if you want some help around the house, Caroline, you were telling me you need a lot of help around the house.
Well,
Shout them out at 254-300-2395.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Alex Hernandez? Well, speaking of murderous children,
Ooh, another?
there is another one. Okay, but first of all, we're going to talk about parricide. Because, you know, there's like there's like, what are the annihilators, filicide. Like you kill the kids, kill the parents kill the kids, parents kill the whatever, kill the mom, kill the dad. There's all these different ones. Well, parricide is killing your own parents.
Okay.
And I guess people get this confused. Like there's, you can kill your parricide, killing both parents, and then there's familicide, I guess, killing your
whole family.
Oh yeah, whole family.
Yeah.
So there's no other family members. This one's just
Mom and
parents.
daddy.
Yeah, and they said this is one of the rarest types of homicides. Accounts for like 2% of the homicides in the United States, and that typically it's white middle class males who have without prior histories of convictions that will do this.
Like the those brothers in
Menendez,
California.
yeah.
Menendez brothers.
Menendez brothers. Austin.
They were rich kids.
Chandler Halderson.
Yes.
Real close to doing that one because I watched that whole trial. But like, I guess it's not as many as daughters. Daughters don't typically kill their parents, but if they do, they kill their mom.
Only.
Yeah.
But there's usually not a dad around, though, I think.
And they said there's 3 types of offenders. You can be the severely abused child who they'll kill their parents to end the long-term abuse.
Like the kid off the Netflix series. I just killed my dad.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah. And like this is the most common cause. And then you can be a severely mental ill. So you're killing him just due to your mental illness. Or the dangerously antisocial child who kills just for selfish reasons. So like basically this case, like today's is going to be that one because there's literally no reason.
I hate those.
But let me tell you a little bit about the situation. First of all, this is Tyler Hadley. He killed his parents, Mary Jo and Blake, in July 2011. And he was 17 years old. And he spent 3 hours cleaning up the blood of his parents. And then he threw a giant house party.
Way to go, Tyler. I mean.
So here you go. And yeah, that's what get ready for it. So Blake and Mary Jo, they live in Port St. Lucie in Florida.
Of course.
Florida man. Here we go. About an hour north of West Palm Beach. They had 2 sons, Ryan and Tyler. Ryan is not born in 1987, and Tyler was born in 93. So
let's just say that this is the same area that Austin was in too.
What?
West Palm Beach area.
Well, I mean,
and I think these are nice areas.
They are
too, like affluent,
nice,
areas.
like suburbia neighborhoods.
And it's like the nice family, like the Menendez brothers. Like they both came from money.
Yeah, but they weren't very nice.
Yeah, they weren't very nice.
That the daddy wasn't. We'll have to cover that case.
I know. So Tyler was actually born premature, 3 pounds 10 ounces. Spent a month in the incubator. So there's that. Blake, the dad, was 54 years old. He worked as a plant operator in Florida at Florida Power and Light. His mom, Mary Jo, was a 47-year-old. She was an elementary school teacher.
But that's how old they are when they died?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was going to be real concerned if that's how they were when they had their kids.
Oh, no. No. This is just, I guess, when their life ended. That's just what their life was happening. So apparently this place is really boring. This Port St. Lucie, there's literally nothing. I mean, there's a lot of places that are really boring and you find something to do, but there's like 2 bingo halls and there's like, you can't even use the beach because there's no beach access. I mean, there's like nothing for these people to do. So what do? It's like a haven for drugs, apparently.
Okay.
Like you can have all these there's cheap property and it's a lot of houses that are available to like grow a bunch of pot. So that's good. So moving on, it seems that maybe this premature, I don't know if premature birth has anything to do with.
Who knows, Casey? Do you have a lot of premature birth kids?
No, and again, this is not my area of specialty,
Right.
but there is research that supports, how premature birth and anything going on during birth too, if there's lack of oxygen at any point, things like that, how it can affect different parts of brain development. And especially we like to focus a lot on the prefrontal cortex.
Yes.
Which is the most advanced part of the brain, the last part to develop, but that's where the executive functioning is, the understanding of actions and consequences and how what you do now impacts you later on and being able to think through those things before you act. So there's sometimes a lot of impulsivity and things like that.
Now that is not fully developed typically till
Like mid-20s.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm going to just bring it to where we are in this real life right now with these kids wanting to do this, sex change stuff. I don't know what the politically correct term is, but when you're so young and they're putting you on these hormones, like that's got to be horrible, not only for you, but like you're not fully developed to really know that that's what you want to do.
Well, if you think about any decisions that you made when you're 16, 17, 18-year-old.
They were fantastic decisions.
Yeah.
Right? How great. Right. Because at that time you think, I know everything. Nothing bad's ever going to happen to me. This is, what I'm into now is what this is how I'm going to feel and think for the rest of my life. So yeah, a lot of change happens.
And so think about when they're drinking and doing drugs.
Yeah.
It makes it even worse.
So by the age of 10, Tyler was on various medications, like for different medical conditions. He was being treated with acne, treated for depression,
ADHD.
And he was taking growth hormones. And he was very troubled by age 12. He was vandalizing property. He was setting fires to like parks. All kinds of stuff. He started drinking around this time and also started doing drugs around 15. So I'm like,
wow.
How are you even getting drink? I don't know. How do you get 12? He started with marijuana, and then he moved to Xanax, and then oxycodone, and then ecstasy, and then a hallucinogen called DMT.
Wow.
I should have looked at what that is. His parents had put him in a substance abuse program prior to all of this, what comes up, the murders. In April of 2011, he got in a fight at a friend's house. He's arrested. He's charged with aggravated battery. He had to spend 2 weeks on house arrest. And this is whenever his mom took his phone.
Okay.
Which was
the trigger?
Huge, yes.
I can't.
Taking the phone was the trigger. But apparently, even like up until this point, he had talked about and thought about in his mind, like he wanted to kill his parents. Because either they were like, he was getting in trouble and they were like making him do stuff that he didn't want to do. He was grounded. Like, what? So then June 2011, he comes home from some party. He's like, either he's wasted, drunk, something. He's incoherent enough to where his mom sends him to a mental facility. Baker Act. Do you know what the Baker acts him is what they said, and then he's sectioned off into the mental. What does this mean? If you're sectioned, like they say, oh, I guess like 5150. Am I speaking all kinds of gibberish?
Have you been watching court TV?
Well,
it goes back to Johnny Depp.
Been watching a lot of TikTok and Gabby Hanna. And so there's all this stuff about if you're sectioned, like then they're sending you off to get mental care. So they said
the Baker Act is specific to Florida, it sounds like.
Okay, because
the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971 is also known as the Baker Act, allows the involuntary institutionalization and examination of an individual. Though if he's under 18, I don't know if that affects, but
yeah.
Also,
so apparently
that's
he can
5150 is the same thing.
Okay.
Person with a mental illness to be involuntarily detained for 72 hours.
Yeah. So since he was 17 and he was underage, the parents could make the decision for him to put him.
And he has to be evaluated during that time.
Okay.
Sounds like.
So it was the mom and the brother who were like really worried, and they're like, we're worried that he's going to harm himself. So they put him in there. And according to him, he says he just doesn't really have a relationship with his dad. His dad's punched him in the face. He doesn't claim that his dad is his actual dad, which all of these turned out to be lies. Okay. So I don't know why he hates his dad so much.
I was going to ask, was he adopted? So a lot of times you don't know what you're adopting, and they end up
apparently he
killing
made it up, and he's a pathological liar, so he lies a bunch.
Oh my God.
What a shock. So a couple weeks after he goes to the facility. He's there for a couple of weeks. He's doing better. The mom's like super excited. She just gets like any sign of positive, healing, I guess, is relief. Because apparently he's also a little mama's boy. So they're, she kind of bails him out every now and then. I mean, apparently he gets in trouble since he's 12 and he's 17 now. So it's like a little pattern here. So the brother, Ryan, was living there with the parents. But then Ryan had recently left to go to college. And once he left, this is when Tyler started to figure out his plan about how he was going to murder his parents.
Okay.
So he's clearly thinking in advance.
Mm-hmm. Is that called premeditation?
Premeditation. The night before all of this went down, he even went to dinner with his aunt and his mom and his dad. Just like a normal dinner, everything's fine. The aunt was like, there was literally, I say literally a whole lot. Literally nothing, like she's like, nothing was wrong. Everything seemed fine.
Wow.
He even had his friend Cameron. He like ran into his friend Cameron after this dinner. And Cameron's like, hey man, what's up? Oh, it's my birthday this weekend. And Tyler's like, oh yeah, well, I'm having a party tomorrow night. Like, you can come over. So like, he knows that this is what he's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think, though, he just had it in his head that his parents are getting in his way?
Yes.
Like, these are all these things that I want to do, and mom and dad are preventing me from being able to do that. So let me just
And would they
get
not
rid of
just
them.
let him have a party, I guess? Probably not. Probably not the type of party he wants to have since he does all these drugs.
The parents were super strict. That's why when he would tell people he was having this party, they would say, like, they wouldn't believe him because they're like, no, dude, you're a parent. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, you're not, like, he wasn't super popular, but he wasn't, like, unpopular. He was just kind of, like, average.
Yeah.
But his parents were super strict, so he barely had people over. I mean, then nobody believed him that he was actually having this party.
So then that super strict, remember our Stockdale
Yes.
family?
Yeah.
Where mom was just way overly and he had just had enough.
Yeah. Well, apparently after all of this happened, so fast forward a little bit to after the murders, a psychologist did say that, this is from his mouth. He says, I was probably mad about getting in trouble, about everything that was going on. I had murderous thoughts, and they started a little bit, but then they increased in frequency, and they became an obsession. I couldn't get it out of my mind. They were pretty intense, and I thought about it every day.
Wow.
So he had claimed that his plan was to kill his parents, then back their car into the garage and kill himself with carbon monoxide poisoning. So now let's go to the day, July 16th, 2011. Tyler decides to put his plan into action. Well,
The day he killed those people.
What if it was all the same day? So his older brother Ryan is gone. He's moved to college. It's just him and the parents. And right before he would attack his parents, he took their cell phones to hide them so they would not be able to call for help.
Wow.
He says that he took 3 ecstasy pills before because he did not want to kill his parents sober. And then that's kind of like like people are like, well, ecstasy would like make you calm down, like, and make you really like chill. Why would you want to go do that afterwards? But you don't ever know when this guy, because he apparently lies all the time.
Okay.
But
it does lower your inhibitions a little bit.
yeah. So yeah, he'd been on so he also has been on all these other medications. So now he's adding more drugs into his system.
HGH, which does that act like a steroid in your body? Was he scrawny?
Plus, if he's drinking,
He was born premature at only 3
So he
pounds.
probably
So
was.
who knows if he ever caught up growth wise.
yeah. I don't know if he's
I've heard of them prescribing kids something like that when they can't, like their skeletal muscle is just the amount is too small.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But after he took his ecstasy pills, allegedly, he goes to the garage and, he just grabs a hammer because he's going to do some work. He so his mom is at the desk. She's at the computer. She's just working on the computer. He has his hammer in the hand, and he like stalls and he waits for a whole 5 minutes. He stands behind her before he's like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? Does it with the edge of the claw, like with the claw side of the hammer.
Ooh.
After he contemplated it for 5 whole minutes, then decided, I think I'm going to just murder my mom and I'm going to beat her in the back of the head with this claw hammer.
Wow.
Okay. And she yells and she's like, why? And she starts screaming. The dad hears. He comes and is trying to figure out what's all this commotion, and looks at, they make this brief eye contact, and the dad asks the same thing, why? And I'm not laughing because it's funny, but it's because it's crazy. He just says, why not?
Oh my God.
I needed to do that. I'm like, what? He said, why not? And he turns the father on his hammer. He bludgeons them to death, drags their bodies into the master bedroom in the back of the house, cleaned up as best he could, which according to people at the party was pretty terrible because, listen, these people, they are somebody was playing music on the computer because, then the party comes along, they're playing music.
He cleans up.
He cleans
but
up.
But he probably has never had to clean because he's probably a little spoiled white kid.
Yeah.
So it's real shitty. He probably just got paper towels and water.
Yeah.
And then now the party started.
Yeah, party started. He got Clorox wipes, smeared it everywhere. Somebody's on the computer playing the song or playing music or whatever, and they're like, oh, there's some brown sticky stuff all over the keyboard. And then somebody, listen, this is the worst.
Brown sticky stuff.
This one guy is playing beer pong.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? He said he went to retrieve the ball from under the table. It was sitting in a pool of brown sticky liquid. He did not go wash it off, but he said he went to go wash it off. And then he continued to play beer pong.
No.
But
he's like, oh, is this maple syrup? Did they spill after breakfast?
Listen, I've had that ping pong ball all up in the mud.
The most disgusting game.
So gross.
So gross. I refuse. I won't do it.
But did you do it?
No.
Absolutely you did it.
When you were younger, everybody played.
You did it probably 2 years ago.
I'm sure I encouraged other people to do it.
Oh, I definitely did it. Yeah, so that's disgusting. They basically drank blood. So Tyler had went and locked the door to the master bedroom where he killed his parents and left them. Locked the door. They're up there during the party. Okay. And he was like, okay, the next part of my plan, let's have this badass party. He told his friends earlier in the week that he was going to have this party. They didn't believe him because, like I said earlier, the parents are super strict. There's no way that he would have a party at his house. So the day of the party, at 11:30, one of his friends messages him on Facebook and is like, hey, I just seen if the party's still on. And he's like, yeah, my parents are leaving soon. Totally cool. And then another person messaged him and he's like, yeah, there's gonna party at my crib tonight, maybe. He's just trying to be so cool. And he finally his last Facebook post was at 8:15, and which was just a few hours after killing his parents.
I wonder if we can still find these posts.
Maybe he wrote, party at my house, HMU. Do you know what that means?
Hit me up.
Y'all are so good. I was going to test y'all's skills.
We work with kids.
Yes.
They let us know.
And somebody was like, oh, well, what if your parents come home? And he replied, they won't. Trust me. Bitch, they're already home. So he told people his parents were going out of town. He had, by 10 o'clock, there's, people showing up. He doesn't know half these people. These people, you know how it is. Small town. And they're like, well, there's nothing to do in this place, so let's just go to this random guy's party. And apparently one of his best friends, Michael Mandel, said that there were kids all over the house drinking, smoking, whatever, but that Tyler had come up to him telling him that he killed his parents. So he's going around this party telling people that he's killed his parents.
And they are...
Because they're like, where's your parents? He's like, oh, what? They're in Georgia. Oh, they're in... he would just... Oh, they don't live here and I live here by myself. This is my house. He told everybody all these different things. And the house was getting destroyed. He could care less. There was broken beer bottles all over the place. God. Pictures were falling off the wall. Everything. I mean, it was just nasty. All he cared about was keeping the noise down.
So the neighbors wouldn't call
the neighbors would call the cops. Then he got real mad because then one kid came inside carrying a mailbox. He stole the neighbor's mailbox. He's like, you can get a felony. Get that mailbox out of the house. Never mind my dead parents upstairs in the master bedroom, bludgeoned to death with my murder hammer weapon right here. Like, what?
There's lots of screws. There's a lot, guys.
Oh my goodness!
I can't even explain. There's misfiring connections happening.
Well, it's like, how do you go? You just have to have either convince yourself that this is okay, and you just believe it's fine,
or you've never had consequences. And so you really don't think there's consequences
because he's had his phone taken away and he's been grounded.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it when you're 12.
I mean, I have a phone when I was 12, but
I think that's what happens in a lot of these situations is there's enough of a disconnection to believe yourself, and like those who are pathological liars as well. They are living in that world where what they're talking about, to them, that's reality.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's some of that too going on. Ugh, this is a head scratcher.
But the ability not to even think of what's going to happen after the party, or care about the actual consequences.
I feel like he obviously had to have something that was like a brain.
I need to see his
missing.
school records. Let's take a break while I go review his school records, please.
And take a break.
And now a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
The Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
And we're back. Back, bitches. Okay, so Tyler told Michael that he killed his parents. Michael did not believe him. Okay. Obviously, he's like, that's weird to say. But Tyler was like, no, I did. And he's like, look in the driveway. Both of their cars are still here. And he's like, so they couldn't be out of town. He's like, okay. And then he said, Michael was like wanted proof or something. Give me some proof. He said, the bodies are still in the master bedroom, but he needs to wait until the party dies down before he can go in there. And Michael's like, sir, no, sir.
No, sorry, Bob.
Go straight up like he should.
Michael was DTF?
Kind of. After he wanted to confirm, and then he wanted to party a little bit more, and then he So this is just, okay. So Michael goes upstairs, opens the door to the master bedroom. He sees Blake, the dad's leg against the door, and was like, oh my gosh, she's telling the truth. Oh my gosh, he really did it. This is real. What? Oh my gosh. And it took him a while to accept, okay, my friend literally.
Oh, this was his friend.
That's an appropriate use of the word literally. Go ahead.
Literally did this. And he just, stayed at the party for a little bit while longer, took a selfie with Michael.
This is my last party with my friend.
He's about to be on the news.
I would have probably took a couple of selfies at least.
No, something's wrong with Michael too.
Yeah, Michael.
By the way,
he's like, I planned to turn him in, and he did, but he did it a little bit later after.
He's a true best friend.
Okay. So once Michael left the party, he called Crime Stoppers.
Just in case, is there a reward before I call the police? Let me just make sure there's not a reward
for missing. I was like, you have to Google.
What is wrong with these kids?
He's like Googling Crime Stoppers.
Wait, I need my friend Sally to get her kids out of West Palm Beach, Florida, right now. It's real weird.
Gosh.
Okay, so after he calls Crime Stoppers to report that Tyler killed his parents, another person who Michael told at the party about it, he actually called 911.
Oh, good job.
And here is that.
Michael had told another teen at the party about what Tyler had told him, and he also called 911.
I was at a party with one of my buddies, and it was at his house. He said his parents went out of town. He said his parents went out of town, so he was throwing the party. And I'm at the party, and we're all hanging out. Everything's cool. He's acting fine.
Did he say, specific, did he hurt them? Are they still alive?
Right. my understanding of it was that he killed them. The bodies are supposed to be at his house, apparently. That's my understanding of it. It all got jumbled up. I mean, I'm really, scared, confused, you know? I heard something about did something with a hammer, and, he tried to point out blood to me in the house. And I seen it, and it was wet, and I don't know if there's blood 100%, but I think it's dead serious, and I don't think they're joking about it. That's the whole thing.
So he sounds like he's doing it as he's driving home. He's like, let me get the hell out of here.
Because this isn't Michael. This is another guy. Yeah, because Michael, called Crime Stoppers for the reward.
And he finished playing beer pong and took some selfies.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. And then this, another person had called. And so they're apparently it turns out that he had told more than multiple people at this party that he killed his parents, but luckily 3 of them at least called authorities.
So 3 other people. Oh, well,
it was Michael, this guy, the 911 call, and then another girl.
Okay.
After he told several other people.
But he's also a compulsive liar, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, and I don't even think these people are his friends. So by the time the police were notified, they show up, and the party's over. Obviously, people this was at 4:30 in the morning that next day, so the 17th, July 17th, and the officers from outside can see Tyler's pacing back and forth in the house, and they knock on the door. He didn't answer. Well, friend Michael had said that Tyler told him he planned on first, he planned on committing suicide by backing the car into the garage and doing the carbon monoxide thing. Then he planned on taking 10 Percocet pills so that he could kill himself. But Michael found the pills and hid the pills so that he couldn't. So then police came. He's looking for these pills. They can't find him. So he finally opens the door. Opens the door. Okay.
Just trust me.
He opened the door. He had his left hand behind his back, and they're like, "Put your hands up." And he's like, "Oh."
And everybody's gone. Is everybody? Yeah.
Yeah. It says the party's over.
Okay.
He had no weapons on him. Once that was confirmed, they cuffed him, take him in, and then, he gets. The office. They find the beer cans. They find this house is completely trashed, like I said earlier, and then his bedroom. There was it was covered with unraveled cigars.
They were about to smoke some weed.
Yeah. So I guess yeah, and then the furniture in his brother's room was turned over, and their 2 family dogs were found alive. Don't worry. If they were found dead, I would not do the story. One was locked in the closet, and one was hiding in the shower.
Oh.
So thankfully they were safe and away from these crazy people. And when the officers, they finally go into the room, they go into the house, they find they go in the door's locked. They have to force their way in. And they find the bodies of Blake and Mary Jo, and Tyler is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Then the news of this murder and the party spread all over town, obviously, small town. And Tyler becomes a little bit of a celebrity.
Oh.
And the inmates at this jail nicknamed him Hambo.
Hambo. You know what? He got what he wanted. He wanted to be cool for a little bit. He got cool for a little bit. But
he gets fan letters and he signs them Hammer Time.
Oh, God.
but don't worry. I made sure that he is getting beat up and he's getting jumped while he's in jail. But this is what's weird. Okay.
So there was a trial.
Okay, he pleaded not guilty.
Okay.
His defense tried to argue that his mental illness caused him to murder his parents. But the fact that he planned it out, the murders, and he attempted to hide the bodies, proved that he knew what he was doing. And it's important to know that you can be found guilty of murder and suffer from mental illness, and a person is only found not guilty if their mental illness made them not aware that what they were doing was wrong.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So that's all crazy to me. I mean, that's all not crazy. Well, it's probably a bad word to use, but that's all interesting.
Well, but it makes sense though. Just because you have a diagnosed mental illness, it's not like a just get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
You're still accountable for your actions, but there are rare cases where you dissociate or completely unaware of the reality of what's happening in that moment.
Yeah.
And
like Andrea Yates.
Yeah.
After we went through that one, I really did feel like she.
Well, and isn't she the one who's opted to continue to stay in treatment because she's afraid of herself?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do for that? That's like you are stuck in your own prison in your mind.
Yeah.
That was
it is scary.
You are like you have a choice.
Prison? Is that a Creed
But I guess
song?
if you have medicine, is that what is it? If people who have bipolar, I'm just thinking about bipolar because whatever but does that help them to not have manic or hypomanic? And I don't even remember what the difference is.
It's tricky with something like bipolar disorder, and that's why the medication is so important because you've got to medicate to a point where you don't trigger a manic episode. So you've got to keep, it's like trying to find the happy medium between a depressive episode and a hypomanic episode, or, just like your baseline and hypomanic, because you don't want to go too far in the other direction. It could trigger one of those episodes.
And
so
is that the job of the psychiatrist?
Yes, typically.
Because they have the conversation and they're like, how are you feeling? I mean, based on what you tell them?
When somebody goes through and cycles through some of those episodes, you can see kind of the precursor sometimes. Like when somebody stops being able to sleep and then they start engaging in certain behaviors, that's when you know like a manic episode may be coming on, or a depressive episode, whatnot. And that's why some of these medications, like with lithium, like it can work really well, but you've got to get your blood work done to make sure the levels are.
Is that like the medication for bipolar?
It's one of them.
Because I know that's what Britney Spears is on.
There's several.
Or had to take. They made her take lithium, and she was scared to death.
But sometimes they work so good that they think they don't need it anymore, so then they get off and they spiral.
That's true for a lot of there's plenty of people who take medication for a while and they've got great results and they think, oh, I'm doing well, I don't need this anymore. And then there's something called a rebound effect, where it's like the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, and you experience some of your symptoms even worse when you discontinue medication.
But surely they don't just like stop.
A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and like it's like this. Would that be the same with like a depressed like a Zoloft? Like you can't just stop that.
But some people do.
Yeah,
and that's why it's so important to be talking to your doctor if you decide to discontinue a medication. Even
you need to wean off of it,
right? So they call titrate down. So you do it little by little to make sure your body's responding. Your brain's responding well to it, because it can. It is, but the research consistently shows for certain issues that people deal with, the best combination for treatment is medication and therapy together, because the medication can have so many positive impacts, but you've also got to deal with underlying what's feeding some of that depression, anxiety, and whatnot. Now, bipolar disorder can be a little bit different. Yes, there's a lot we can do in therapy. Same thing like with schizophrenia. Like some of those individuals are going to be on medication forever to deal with that mental illness, and sometimes the therapy is for family members too, to learn how to help these people the most, and help them look out for some of these signs and the cycling of behaviors and whatnot. But for a lot of people, they don't need medication forever, especially if they do well through therapy and learn a lot of good coping resources and strategies. But there's mental health is a big topic. I mean, and so I don't want to generalize to, the whole population, because it's very, very individual, according to what somebody deals with.
Do you think that schizophrenia is you're just smarter than everybody else?
I don't know.
And you have like all these different thoughts, and then it's like your brain is opening up to more than other people's brains open up to.
I think that's what they think at the beginning, and then something bad happens.
I just want it to be more. I want there to be a superhuman power.
Behind
like that movie, like The Limitless, when they take those.
Yes, I want to be limitless.
But honestly, like some people in their manic episode, that is their experience. That's what the grandiosity is, and some of those. I mean, it's pretty scary.
Okay, manic and hypomanic. What's hypomanic?
Well, so there's several differences, and April can help out. I don't know with this too to jump in, but hypomanic episodes are not as severe, and they're people can function better during a hypomanic episode. Those might be the people that like clean their entire house or go through their pantry and organize things, or they might get involved in some kind of project and work on it. But they're usually missing. I say it's about like 4-ish days of not very much sleeping, having elevated energy and whatnot. These are the people that like they've missed appointments with me because they were vacuuming the house and doing something and like couldn't like keep track of time.
I kind of wish I was hypo.
I wish I was
Are we on hypo or regular?
And there's that pressured, there's that pressured speech, and they can't sit down and just go and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny.
Oh my gosh,
kind of
I
thing.
need that.
But it's still a little strange too. They can function, but they're not functioning well. Okay. Mania is totally different, where there can be a lot of really, really dangerous behaviors going on. People are going sometimes weeks without sleep, and not sleeping can make you crazy. Also,
yes.
I mean, sleep deprivation is a really torturous thing. And then there's a lot of like excessive spending, or people are like going into huge debts with gambling, or they might be engaging in risky sexual behaviors, or with drugs, or with, like physical types of things, like driving really fast, or like the girl who's making 300 TikToks in 12 hours. And it's I'm the happiest person in the world. I'm untouchable. I'm invincible. I'm on top of the world.
I'm Jesus. I went to heaven. I went to hell. I went this. I experienced this. I did
and you're
this.
not. You're just really not in reality at that point.
Yeah.
So if there's hypo, is there hypermania too?
No, just hypomanic and manic.
Oh. Well, that's very confusing.
But going back to this kid, when he was evaluated when he was younger, is there any information about his diagnoses? Did it ever say?
He had to have something probably when he was at that hospital.
I mean, he's been, because it says he has seen psychologists, and but I'll have to.
And I don't know if it was ever released. But then you've also got there's that other layer of the drug use, right? And what was going on there? How is that affecting his system? What's in those drugs that he thinks he's taking? Because that's really important too. And especially if he's taking prescription medication at the same time, are these things interacting? How are they interacting?
He had never seen anything like this in his 30 years of practice.
I don't feel so bad then when I go, what is happening?
Because of his lack of violent history. So it's like, it was just out of the blue.
Yeah.
And it was so violent.
And it was so violent. And he said this, it's not unexpected that Hadley lied to mental health experts after his arrest. He faked symptoms of psychosis, claiming he heard voices, and just said he had low self-esteem. Okay, listen, let me tell you what happened. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole in 2014. Okay, he was found guilty, and then Florida has the death penalty, but since he was only 17 at the time of the murders, he was not eligible for the death penalty. So it turned out that the Court of Appeals agreed also that he was that a minor is not supposed to be sentenced life without parole. So in 2018, he was resentenced to 2 life terms, but this time he would be eligible for parole. But the terms are to be served congruently, and he'll be eligible for parole review after 25 years. But so far he's like been a horrible prisoner and has like smoking pot and like has several like shanks or shivs or whatever that he's been doing, and that have been confiscated, and he refuses to participate in disciplinary hearings.
He was ADHD the whole time. All he needed was medicine.
Yeah. So,
he'd have been cured.
You know, he was mad about getting in trouble at home, and then he goes and he murders his parents. Now he's just getting in trouble in prison. So it's the same, living the same life.
Wow.
And that's
so 25 years. He went in when he was 17.
Yeah.
Well,
in 2011. So when is that?
He was sentenced in 2014.
11.
No, well, I guess 11 is when it happened.
And then re-sentenced in 2014.
Yeah, she listened. Yes, 2014 he was found guilty. Sentenced.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I
love a crazy kid.
It's all, and it's, I don't know.
Such a good story.
It's like, that's like I still am obsessed with Chandler Halderson.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't do that one.
I really probably might. He's the one who went and chopped up, which I don't know, it's a little suspicious how he just did it all alone. How does one person chop up 2 full-grown adults, and then he had his girlfriend over the next day and brought him like Parricide or something because he spilt something and helped, and she didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
And he's burning them in the fireplace while she's there, and they have this like tent or fort right in front of the fireplace. It's bullshit.
So Tyler, both parents had like blunt force trauma to the head.
Yeah, with a hammer.
With a claw hammer.
I wonder what the brother has to say about all this
I
too.
know.
Like if he saw, like what are some things that he saw growing up, that were odd.
Yeah.
And what their relationship was like.
I need a documentary on this.
There might be one.
To look into that. There's always so much more to the story, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and we could go into like
everything.
Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, I mean, there's so much entitlement also, and that can really impact people in pretty severe ways.
I mean, he's not like a super skinny.
No.
It's just he looks like a normal dude.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, such a good story.
There you go. What else?
I think that's it. What we didn't do is put her through her question panel, and we are done. But besides reminding people to go and sign up, register for the live show, we have how many weeks? 3 weeks?
I better get working
I'm
on my
excited.
story.
I got a ticket this time. I missed it last time.
Finally. So we're excited for that. Forget Friday Night Football. Come to downtown Waco with Caroline and I.
And where do we sign up? Where do they get our tickets?
On our Facebook page.
There's a link. I put it on Instagram, but just go to the Facebook page or go to I don't even know the website. This is so good. We're so good at promoting it.
We'll put it in. We'll put it up again just so it's new on your feed. Register and bring a friend. We are working on after show party, like an after show party.
Like a mixer.
Stay tuned. Yes, like a mixer with us. And there's a place that loves to do signature, like bloody happy hour themed drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for details about that. Just for those of you who don't want to be done when the show's over, we can keep going. Is there anything else?
Oh, Casey, what do you think about pineapples?
Oh my gosh. You've just ruined it for me.
I know. I've ruined pineapples for a lot of people, but I'm okay with it. I think you mainly have ruined it. And also, I know you're building a house. Are you going to use red mulch or any mulch at all?
Not planning on it.
Damn. She's so boring.
I am so stuck with mulch to use because black looks the best, right, on a white house, but it fades like in 3 weeks.
Oh, but does red not?
No, red stays prettiest the longest.
Oh, what are you trying to tell us?
I don't know. I'm going to have to find some rock or something. Also, Casey,
I think we need to
your
go live.
kids are real beautiful. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Oh, they're basically models.
No, they look like my husband. I get all that from him.
Do you worry about human trafficking? Do you go to other countries? When you travel, do you tie one of those little things around them
First of all,
so they don't get kidnapped?
What about the zip ties? Did you see my video I put on?
Oh, with
stories?
the car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, this one girl, little high school girl, was driving to work. She would come home at night. Her dad the next morning would see a zip tie around the door handle of her back passenger side car. He cut the zip tie off. She would go to work the next day, come back, zip ties back. He's like, why are these zip ties still all continuing to be in the car? And apparently it's that's a human traffic sign or whatever. I guess if somebody's watching a person and they notice that they are in a vulnerable situation at any time, they put this little zip tie on their car door as a sign of hey,
it's like they're tagging them or something.
yeah, we're tagging you, this person is available to be kidnapped.
Really?
Or is in a situation to where they're alone and vulnerable to be kidnapped. So watch out for those zip ties.
What?
We're very much in that whole, you have to hold my hand all the time and don't run away from me. And it's not going well, guys. They go the opposite direction.
Just get a leash.
And there's two of them and they go in the opposite direction from each other. And so it's real.
I think that's it. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Go review. We have some to read. We'll read those in the next couple episodes. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, go register for the live show. Tell Casey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was really fun, guys.
Come back anytime.
Yay.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. I didn't even see.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.